Okay, so I just put the new bootloader on there. It did require me to take the pack out, which was annoying as always. Anyway, this is going to be the first key on to see if LiBCM can start from a cold boot, which will be very nice. So I'm going to turn the IMA switch on, and as the beta testers know, that does not turn LiBCM on now. It will on Rev C actually, though. I've figured out a way to make it do it on Rev C. But the key point here is that LiBCM should be able to turn itself off whenever it wants to be off, and then turning the key on can turn it back on. So I haven't actually tried it yet, but let's see if it works. And it does. I know that just by the click of the relays. If you listen to it enough times, you know what it sounds like. One thing I do want to point out, as of right now, and this is just a firmware issue, I need to change some of the firmware, the beta screen, the prototype screen here, will not work on a cold boot. So the screen is actually initialized when you turn the key off right now. And it will probably stay that way forever, to be honest, because this is not something I intend for people to use forever. I want to make my own version of it using the next-gen display. That'll be much better. It'll be a touch screen, so you can actually control it from the car. But for now, I haven't done any of that work, really, so we're using this screen, and it does not work on the first key on from a cold start. Now, when you turn the key off, this is powered by the key plus 10 seconds, that's what I call it. There's basically a relay in there where the MCM can keep the IMA bay powered so that it can write EEPROM data. And then when the IMA is done, it can turn itself off. And you might have just heard the relays click there. So we just initialized the screen, and you probably saw it said LiBCM version 0.3.1 or whatever. That's when we're actually initializing the screen. We do it at every key off. So if I turn the key back on now it will work correctly. So that's just a limitation of the firmware as it is now. The car will work, it's just you won't have a screen on the first key on. But again, this screen's gonna go away. The other screen won't have this limitation. This screen is really terrible from a hardware perspective as far as writing to it. It has I think I've talked about it already, but it has a 4-bit communication mode that it uses that has some really weird timing communications, because it is actually an 8-bit device. It just has a 4-bit mode. It's kind of funky. We've talked about it. So anywho, that is great news because it means that LiBCM can turn itself off, which means that the battery life goes from 100 days to like 3 years. As I've mentioned several times, I'm super excited about that. The worst thing that can happen is that your battery management system ends up destroying your battery because you leave it parked at an airport for 3 years. So cool, hey, it worked. That's awesome. This is the first time I've filmed that, so that's good. As always, thanks for watching. Have a good day.